Imagine stepping into a medieval street and being hit by a smell so powerful it could knock the courage out of a knight. Now imagine learning that, despite all the filth we picture, people back then actually tried to stay clean, sometimes risking their lives just to take a bath. Yes, the Middle Ages were far stranger, dirtier, and more shocking than you ever learned in school. And today, we're diving straight into that world. With a bar of medieval soap in one hand and a bucket of cold river water in the other, let's travel back in time, get absolutely filthy, and then scrub ourselves clean again as we uncover the unbelievable truth about hygiene in the Middle Ages. When we imagine medieval life, we often picture people happily rolling around in mud, living in clouds of stink, and ignoring personal hygiene altogether. But here's the twist. Medieval people did wash. They did bathe. They even cleaned their teeth far more often than many of us assume, even if they never reached the hygienic standards we expect today. There were medical guides that told people how to look after their bodies. There were instructions on staying healthy, staying alive, and staying somewhat dirt-free. People tried, truly tried, to keep themselves and their clothing clean, even when the world around them made that nearly impossible. So let's step back into the past, hold our noses, and pull up our sleeves as we explore medieval hygiene together. Much of what we know about the Vikings comes from Christian writers who absolutely did not like them. They painted the Scandinavians as wild pagans, violent raiders, and dirty savages. But here's the shocking truth. The Vikings were cleaner than the Anglo-Saxons, who were the ones calling them filthy. At the time, Anglo-Saxons might bathe only once or twice a year. Yes, a year. Meanwhile, Vikings were so well groomed that Anglo-Saxon women practically swooned when they walked by. When archaeologists dig up Viking graves, they often find personal grooming kits, razors, tweezers, combs, and something especially delightful, ear spoons. These were tiny scoops made of wood or metal that Vikings wore on chains around their necks. They used them to remove earwax and sometimes scrape out dirt from their fingernails. They also used soap made with lye, which bleached their hair into bright blonde shades. Not only did this keep lice away, but blonde hair was trendy. Imagine a group of big Viking warriors, all bleaching their beards like it's some kind of ancient Scandinavian boy band. A 13th century chronicler even wrote that the Danes, thanks to combing their hair daily, bathing every Saturday, and always changing their clothes, were able to seduce married women and even noble daughters. The Saxon men didn't stand a chance. But not every medieval culture loved hair. Many men preferred to be clean-shaven, yet shaving was a dangerous sport. Medieval mirrors were tiny and cloudy. Razors were basically long metal knives waiting to slice someone's throat. Most men had to visit a barber surgeon or get someone else to help, because one wrong move meant a bloody morning, literally. And no matter how clean people tried to be, lice and fleas were absolutely everywhere. Rich or poor, king or peasant, no one escaped the itch. Those parasites helped spread plague across Europe for 500 years, hiding in clothing, bedding, and hair. People combed them out with fine, tiny combs, similar to the ones still used today. Imagine sitting by the fire while someone picks bugs out of your hair. Welcome to medieval spa day. If you walked into a European medieval city, the first thing that would hit you was the stench. A city with 100,000 people could produce 5,000 kilograms of human waste every single day. That's 5 metric tons of medieval surprises daily. People didn't actually squat in the street, but in cities like London there was no real sewage system, so chamber pots were often emptied straight into the road. In areas without communal toilets, waste simply flowed where gravity took it. By the 12th century, public toilets appeared that emptied into the River Thames. Yes, straight into the river. In 1327, a law tried to stop people from dumping their waste into the Thames. Citizens were ordered to use carts or dung boats. But instead, people turned to illegal medieval fly tipping, dumping waste anywhere they could. Tower Hill became so foul by 1371 that people living nearby were gagging on the smell. Another law banned dumping there, so people immediately went back to throwing everything into the river again. The stinky cycle continued, and King Edward III even complained that the river had become so clogged with filth that ships struggled to pass. Just to be clear, ships with a P. Castle moats played a surprising role in hygiene, if you can call it that. They weren't just for defense, they doubled as open sewers. Commoners had outdoor latrines, but castles used something called a garderobe, basically a hole in the wall. Waste fell straight into the moat below. Imagine walking by a castle on a warm summer day. The smell would slap you harder than any enemy army. Despite all the filth around them, medieval royalty took hygiene seriously. King Edward III had his own tiled bathroom, with hot and cold running water and perfumed soaps made from lard or oil mixed with wood ash. The wealthy used herbs and flowers for fragrance. The poor used harsh lye that could burn skin. Kings even had servants called grooms of the stool, whose job was taking care of royal poop.